Welcome back to the county seat. Our topic today is the withdrawal of the hard rock mining claims on the Arizona Strip, a 6-month moratorium. Our guests today are Scott Florence, the Arizona Strip District Manager for the BLM, a County Supervisor from Coconino County, Carl Taylor, and Jim Matson, County Commissioner from Kane County, Utah. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. I want to start with you, Scott. Is there a misunderstanding in the general public perception of what this really is about, the withdrawal?
Well, that's probably true. I think it's a complicated subject. I think we talked about this the last time. Mm-hmm. It's a withdrawal of federal minerals, under the 1872 mining laws, the general mining laws. And what it would do is it would stop the location of new claims. As Supervisor Taylor pointed out before, it wouldn't necessarily stop all mining because any withdrawal is subject to valid existing rights. So any claims that are, if there was a withdrawal, mm-hmm. any claims that were found to be valid could go forward, with development. And in fact, in the reasonable foreseeable development scenario that we put together so we could do the EIS analysis of impacts associated with mining levels under the different alternatives, it assumes that even if there was a full withdrawal, there would be as many as 11 new mines that could be developed, in the future, even under a full withdrawal scenario.
People will, within the industry, particularly even in oil and gas, will say, well, that's fine, there's existing rights, but the process of developing and making the claims and getting from inception or making the claim to actually start, there's quite a time lag. And I believe the number is just like 3,500 claims. Is there some concern for any of you can answer this question, that we've stopped an ongoing process and that those claims will process and run out and there won't be any action in the future because you just kind of run out of gas or uranium?
Well, eventually at some point, yes. I mean, because you couldn't file new claims, those roughly 3,500 claims that are in existence right now, the withdrawal doesn't wipe them out, but they are subject to a validity process. If somebody wants to develop a mine, they have to go through a process to prove, validity before the claim can be developed. So some of those claims will, probably lapse. People will just let them lapse. And others they'll maintain if they think they have a reasonable chance that they have a valid claim. So I mean that's all behind those assumptions of 11 mines going forward over the next 20 years.
Okay, Supervisor Taylor, mm-hmm. Your county, or from your county's perspective, you're not necessarily upset about this withdrawal. Is that correct?
The Coconino County. 2 of the 3 areas under consideration are in Coconino County. 1 is in Mojave County. None are in Utah. Mm-hmm. The area of greatest concern to us is south of the Grand Canyon, where we have 5 million tourists a year. Many of the claims that have been made in the Kanab National Forest are within a few miles of the park boundary. Mm-hmm. We have had the experience of an abandoned mine or a completed mine there that we had to do a lot of remediating within the park. There's still a claim by the Park Service that the water that's flowing down Horn Creek is contaminated, and they have warnings about that. So our view has been that we have not said what ought to happen in Mojave County, which is where all of the currently active mines are. But we've said that it's very difficult for us to see any upside to mining in and around 5 million tourists south of the Grand Canyon.
Okay. Jim, your comments on this?
Well, in looking at the issue in the 3 areas that Carl has just mentioned, the area that's closest to us and the one that we advocate for, of course, is Mojave County. Mm-hmm. And when you look at that in total with the existing operations that are going on and what the potential is for that county with upwards to 120 plus developed mines that could end up giving us the energy equivalent of what's in Prudhoe Bay, is pretty significant. So The divide seems to be between the river, between Coconino County and Kane County. However, we have people operating here that have interests on both sides. So to sort this thing out is going to get a little complicated. And as far as the tourism question, we looked at some numbers and some data that had come out of the 1980 to 1990 period of time. And while Energy Fuels, the predecessor to most of these companies, was operating, visitation to the Grand Canyon actually went up. It was kind of, you know, in the background. It didn't seem like that any of these should be that obtrusive. So I'd have to say, you know, you can look at it under a microscope, but in total, our interests are south of here for what can benefit the people that live here for the jobs that are needed and for some time to come. Is
remediation of a finished or abandoned or completed mine site the same issue it used to be? Because, I mean, from my understanding, regulations are so vastly different and the requirements of companies are so different that remediation is now not something that waits several years. It's part of the original plan. Is that not true?
That's true. The reclamation of the mine sites, those requirements are built into the plan of operation for the mine, so that, and the company posts a bond so that if they you know, were to walk away, become bankrupt, then we hold a bond so that we can accomplish the reclamation. But that's part of the process. So when the mine is mined out and they remove the infrastructure, then they're required as a part of their, you know, fulfilling and complying with the plan of operations to reclaim the site according to the standards that are outlined in that plan.
I'd like to add to that, actually.
Yeah.
This is his business and he knows his business, but one of the concerns we have is mothballing. That is, the mine is shut down before it's been completely emptied. And as far as I know, there's no limit in time that a mine can be mothballed.
The difference between now and then is the newer surface management regulations have a requirement for the agency to review the interim status, and we can require them to, you know, restart the mine or go into reclamation.
We'll be right back with more of the county seats. Stay with us.
It's time you got off the beaten path. It's time you discovered something new. It's time you explored Kane County, Utah. Thousands of miles of trails, shorelines that go on forever, a horizon that compels you forward. Spend some time in Kane County and visit the past, present, and future. Kane County, Utah. It'll be time well spent.
Come discover Logan, Utah. It's in your own backyard. Book your getaway today.
There's a lot to see and do in Duchesne County this month.
Beginning August 1st through the 6th is the Uinta Basin in celebration. Join us in Roosevelt for this annual event that has been going on for more than 75 years. The entire week includes sporting events, arts, crafts, pet show, games, and the grand finale Saturday night with fireworks and Chuck Wicks.
Duchesne County, close enough for business, far enough to get away.
Take a look, take a glimpse, take a peek. You'll be surprised by what you find. Join us August 4th through the 6th for the 2011 Tooele County Fair. Enjoy live entertainment, classic car show, rodeo, demolition derby, and more. Head to TooeleFair.com for tickets and more information. Adventure, beauty, excitement. Tooele County Parks and Recreation, bringing communities together.